Hello! Today is Monday, February 1st, 2016. I'm on the first day of my third trip to the Hansa Center in Wichita, Kansas. And I'm just going to record what I can remember of today's trip, or my time at the clinic, I should say. I started today by having to go to a place called LabCorp, or LabCorp. I'm not sure how you say it. LabCorp. So I don't know if they pronounce the P or not. Anyway, I had to go get some blood drawn to get some labs done, which I was supposed to do um, before I came. You're supposed to do it within the last 2 weeks before you come for your trip, but the LabCorp nearby where I could have gone couldn't do all the tests because of distance they had to travel to get to the place where they would be tested. So anyway, I had to go do that at 8:30 this morning, and then at 9:30 I had my appointment with my doctor. My doctor's name is Dr. Jonathan Streit, and I really like him. This is a hard thing to have to do, fight for wellness, and it's good to have a doctor alongside you that you enjoy because you spend a lot of time with your doctor. You're with him for about an hour every day that you're here. And so I enjoy my time with him, and he makes it lighthearted. He isn't irreverent about it, but not depressing either. So that's really good. And I just think we have a good rapport. But I think everybody thinks that about their doctor. I think all the doctors at the Hansa Center are great, and you probably can't go wrong with any of them. But I'm partial to mine, I suppose, because he's mine. Doesn't belong to me, but he's the one that I see. So, anyway, just before I go into my doctor appointment, I'm staying. The first time I came here, I stayed at a place called Crest Hill Suites, which is right next door to the Hansa Center, and that was really nice. I could just walk across the parking lot and get to the Hansa Center, and when I had time off, I could go back to my room, and they just really can't beat that. Unfortunately, that hotel has gone very far downhill to the point where there are reports of bed bugs and things like that, and so my second trip I determined was not worth chancing it and taking bed bugs home. So I stayed at a place called the Candlewood Suites, maybe. Anyway, it's a hotel, and I was very happy there. I really enjoyed my time there. The room was really nice. It was clean, good service, and all that stuff. Easy to get to Hansa. But since I was last here 6 months ago, a local patient who has overcome a lot of her issues through the help of the Hansa Center, she and her husband purchased a home and renovated it to have 4 suites that Hansa patients can rent and stay at a house. So you have shared living space, kitchen, living room, some other small living areas, and a deck out back and stuff. And then you have your bedroom, and it's hotel style in that you have your own bathroom, a keypad on your bedroom door, so security, there's no fear of security issues. It's really nice. I'm really enjoying being able to be in a home, in a house, when I'm here for a whole week instead of the inconveniences of hotel living for a week. So that's pretty cool, and I'm happy. I like it. I'm in my room right now. There's throughout the house there's different scriptures on the walls, which is cool, and other good decor, of course. Okay, so as I was saying, my doctor appointment, we started out just reviewing how I've been, and I said that I feel that I've been up and down, but overall I would say I gained some small amount of ground. It was important ground to gain, but not necessarily lots of ground. But Um, but still a good victory because it was such important ground. It's been a very stressful 6 months with my grandmother's health um, and mental state. She has dementia and uh, declined quite a bit in the last year. And the last 6 months have been difficult for my mom and I to take care of her. So we did ultimately decide we had to move her to a different facility that was actually specifically for people with dementia, and we think it's going to be really good for her. It's a small group home. It's not like a big nursing home or anything. 6 residents, all with dementia. They all have, kind of shared life experiences in that they've had families and things like that, and now they're elderly and have dementia. So, um, anyway, so that was the 6 months between my last trip and this trip, and it was very difficult to try to take care of myself as far as even eating the way I want to and should, doing the therapies I need, getting the rest I need. I was working almost all of my waking hours, just overworked, overstressed, exhausted, and not being able to do the things I need to do to heal. And so, in light of that, I was focusing on trying to at least stay positive, and I would get frustrated. I would feel like, oh, I want to get well, but I'm never going to get well under the conditions of my life. And kind of got to the point where I thought, you know, the conditions of my life certainly weren't a surprise to God. And so just because I am unable to do the things to fix myself can't mean that healing isn't still available. So I focused on what I could, which was my spiritual and emotional and mental state. And I worked really hard to try to stay positive, to give myself grace, to reject self-hatred and self-rejection and all those kinds of things for not doing my healing right. And really just kind of tried to hang on and get through. And it was an exercise of just surviving every day, which really frustrated me. I did focus on trying to stay positive and trust God and all of that, but I wasn't always in the best mental and emotional state. I had lots of anger that I needed to work through, and sometimes just let myself be angry or listen to the anger or anything like that. So there was a lot of that kind of thing. And some of this stuff I could talk about for a really long time, but I want to keep these brief, these updates. So that's just the main overview, and that's what I told him. I used many fewer words to give him a summary of how that had all gone. And after Christmas, I started doing a program by a woman named Dr. Caroline Leaf. She has several books, but she's done a lot of scientific research on the brain and has rejected science that refutes the Bible. And so she has basically searched out how to renew our minds scientifically that is supported by Scripture. It's very cool work. I read her one book called Switch On Your Brain and did 21-day brain detox program. You can do it online. And I really experienced a lot of good things through that. I was having a hard time mentally. It's hard. Just had a lot of brain fog. I had trouble thinking clearly. Just tired a lot in my brain. Couldn't memorize things. Couldn't remember simple things. Couldn't remember words. These are actually common issues with chronic illness, and then especially with all the chronic stress I had on top of it. It's common neurological issues, but they're still frustrating just because I know there wasn't anything wrong with me. Like, as a person, just my brain was struggling, didn't make it any less frustrating. And over the last several years, in fact, I have been unable to memorize scriptures, um, remember much scripture. I've had a hard time even reading and comprehending. It actually had gotten a lot better for a while, and then over the last 6 months, it was a real struggle again. Probably the last 2 or 3 months, it was a real struggle. And I chalk it mostly up to the stress and the tiredness, but still, it was there and it was frustrating. So the third or fourth day of the brain detox program, they actually suggest that you try to memorize a scripture passage. They have a specific one. And I was like, I am doing this. I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. And it was very difficult to memorize. It was a short one. It wasn't super long. And it was very difficult, but I did it. And that was a really big victory to me. I experienced a lot of changes in my brain and even in my body. I have less pain in my back since I started doing this. I have had more peace, physical peace overall, and mental and emotional peace as well. But I'm specifically talking about my experience of chronic illness is sometimes my body is just kind of like it's exhausted, and yet I can feel inside it's like everything is going and it won't calm down. And so that has calmed down though now. And I have had more success sleeping a little bit more consistently. I have a hard time getting to sleep, but once I've been asleep, I have slept pretty well, as long as I can sleep till I'm done sleeping. On days when I have to get up at a certain time, that's very difficult. But anyway, good improvements that I'm really happy about. So that kind of just gives you an indication of, that's really important ground that I felt needed to be gained, and it's encouraging that it was gained. So even though I don't feel like I've made huge improvements in my health over the last 6 months, I definitely feel like the ground I've gained gives me a lot of good momentum in every way. So that's really exciting, and I've definitely come down here feeling like it's a time for breakthrough, and this trip could really be key. I've believed that actually since I was here last time. When I got home last time, I really felt deep inside myself that this third trip would be key and would be like a lot of breakthrough would happen for specifically pain and sleep issues. So I just felt that I needed to do everything I could to make sure I got back here in the 6 month time period that my doctor had recommended. So I did do that. Now I'm not sure when I'd be able to come back again, but I'm just going with what I believe, which is that I believe that this trip is going to be very significant. So coming into the trip, that's where I'm at. I'm going to stop this and start a new recording because they're easier to work with when the files are smaller. So this is already over 10 minutes, almost 15 minutes. I'll be right back.